Play on Canada podcast. We have an amazing story to share with you of two individuals that met in London, Ontario back in 2013 and are now married. A true story, and who doesn't love a love story? Joining us now is Ryan and Lindsay Sproul. Ryan is a second round pick, 55th overall, the Detroit Red Wings in 2011. Played for Detroit and the New York Rangers before playing in the KHL in the last few seasons. Lindsay is a country music recording artist and is a retailer in the greater Toronto area. Welcome to the podcast to both of you, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you guys
for having us.
Now, we all know these play-on tournaments, they're filled with some heated rivalries on the street there, but more or less it's just a fun day in the sun. And then with this, it turned out to be a day of romance. Like, I kind of want to just know, how did this kind of develop? Was it the singing of the anthem just made you starstruck, or was it Ryan doing a sick play dangling Scott Hill, our CEO? What kind of happened here? What was the spark?
Actually, it was. I've always been a big country guy. Actually, as soon as I was in the Sault Ste. Marie and played up there, when I was young, I kind of got into country and really enjoyed that and started listening to country music a lot. I kind of brought that back home, and Lindsay being a country singer, I had followed her a little bit and just was always impressed with her music and stuff like that. So getting the call to go to play on, as when I was with the Red Wing organization, it was almost a bonus just to go do that and then know that Lindsay was playing and there was a country singer there. And it was, I guess you could say, kind of starstruck in a way that I wanted to go see and obviously see her performance, but then I was able to play as well. And lucky enough, we ended up playing together as well. I don't know if you were on our team. Oh, you were on our team.
You don't remember. We were on the same team. I got the first assist. He got the first goal. So I feel like it was meant to be from the start. He came up and gave me a little fist bump after I got the assist. Yeah.
It's a good thing she's good at country music because, man, that was tough to play with.
The team ended up winning, and we decided to go out for a cocktail afterwards. We ended up sitting beside each other, and we hit it off, and the rest is history. We got married last year, and I mean, here we are today. We just have a house together. We're family planning. It's been a wild ride. Thanks, Play On.
Aww. Now that's what Play On's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. 100%. So, Ryan, Lindsay, tell us, because you mentioned about playing. Did you guys play in the celebrity game? How did that work?
Yeah, it was just a celebrity game. So I know that they had all the kids and other, league or whatever it is, games playing besides that, but then they had a celebrity game too. So actually, when I got there, I remember walking around and just in awe at all the games going on and, the different ages and stuff like that and how serious and intense that it was. I'd never seen anything like that. So it was pretty cool to, walk around and see that and the vendors going on and what a setup it was. It was really cool experience just to even get there. And then we got treated like gold and played in that celebrity game, I guess it is, with a couple other hockey guys. And I had one of my buddies come down with me from Mississauga to London. So that made everything easy as well. And then obviously, like Lindsay said, we played our celebrity game and just went for a cocktail after. And, we ended up going to, I think, another one in Toronto after that because we had such a good time in London. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had refs either. They kept calling me for high sticking. And I mean, I'm not a hockey player, so I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. But now, obviously, being together with Ryan, I know the game pretty well. Yeah. So, I mean, it was super well run. Obviously, there's live music because I was the live music at the London Play On. So, I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was a great day. And then, like Ryan said, we did the Toronto location, what was it, the week after or something?
Yeah, a couple weeks after that, yeah.
Yeah, and Ryan and I had been in contact, and he's like, if you're playing, I'm playing Toronto. So we both went and met up again and went out for lunch afterwards, and that's kind of how we got things rolling with the two of us.
I know now that you're complaining about some of the calls against you, you certainly sound like a hockey player.
I call her Lindsay McKenzie because she's just like, knows everything about the game now.
I know every stat now.
Yeah, she certainly recited the game stats pretty well so far in this podcast. So the memory's better than mine. Now, my question is during that game and afterwards going out, did you guys think that you would be where you are today at that moment, or was that kind of something that just developed over time?
I mean, I don't know. You mean in relationship wise?
Yeah, was it like a? I think Ryan might have mentioned it already about saying like it just like he got struck right in that moment. I was just wondering, did you feel the same way, Lindsay, or what's going on?
Probably not.
Well, I will say I know from speaking to Ryan's mom. Can I embarrass you here? Can I say that he had sent her? I know.
Oh yeah, we're friends here on Play On.
Rye had sent his mom a message right after he met me and said, "I just met the girl that I'm going to marry." So I think for Rye, it was definitely you knew right then and there. I think it took me a little while to come around, if I'm being honest. In terms of answering your question, it did take me a couple weeks to come around to it, but it wasn't too long. And after that first date that we had together, we went out for dinner, and that was it for me.
Wow, what a romantic. Hey Vince, about Ryan? Wow, what a great guy.
Just a bit. Lindsay, we were told that you sang the national anthem at the national championships and performed at some of the events. Was it difficult kind of performing at a street hockey tournament than maybe an arena?
Honestly, no. I think, every experience is cool. And as a country singer, you go everywhere. I used to do home shows, so I would run contests and go to people's homes and sing. And, now with COVID, people are doing online shows. So you really have to be adaptive, I find, as a country performer. And that's what you do, right? You perform and you adapt to every single situation that you find yourself in. And there were still hundreds of people there. So it was really cool to, get out there and meet a lot of the people that have heard my songs on the radio and meet some of the fans afterwards and then play in the tournament as well. And then, in London, when I sang on the stage there, it was kind of a different vibe as well because, I wasn't standing in the middle of an outside arena, I would say. What would you call it? An outside street hockey tournament. But again, it was another situation where you need to adapt. And I didn't find it difficult. I enjoyed every single moment of it. I went back and did it another time. So originally, the first time that I sang was Niagara Falls. I sang the national anthem. Cool experience for me. I'd never been to Niagara Falls before. And then the second time was London. And that's where I performed with an acoustic player as well. They accompanied me. And, every situation that I found myself in, it was never a worry. It was never a difficulty. And it was fun. You have to make the best of what you do, right?
Now, I want to piggyback off that for a little bit. I heard talking from a couple different artists that singing the anthem is one of the hardest things to do just because everyone else knows the lyrics. You really can't mess it up. Is there any truth to that? And Ryan, will you ever join her on the mic at one of these play-on tournaments? That's
you don't want that.
No, you definitely do not want him on the mic. He's the last person that you want on the microphone.
I'll stick playing the game. Let her.
I definitely think that there's truth in that. In terms of the lyrics, there's nothing worse than forgetting the lyrics to a song. And I think, it's great when people don't know the lyrics because you can just make it up and go along and nobody knows the difference. But when they've been singing it since they were 5 years old, there's a bit of a different pressure on. And when you are singing the anthem, it's different because especially in an arena or in an outside event where your sound isn't maybe, you don't have your in-ears in and you don't have monitors facing back at you. So you can't really hear what you're doing. So you're just kind of hearing what's going on around you. And you're just really hoping that it sounds good and that people think it sounds good. But I definitely think there is an extra added pressure to singing the anthem. I do agree with that.
One more about Play On, Ryan, Lindsay, because do you have any memories playing in the events? I guess we'll start with Ryan first.
Specific memories, I think it's just kind of an overall memory of the whole thing itself. I remember with, especially being in London, I think that was one of the coolest parts was that there was a lot of Red Wings fans there. As they are in London, right? So when I was with the organization, I had already played one game with the Wings. People kind of knew who I was there, which was awesome. And once they kind of announced that as well, people started coming up and wanting their autograph or my autograph and stuff like that. So it was kind of a cool experience. Probably something that before I had played in the NHL, I would have, never had in a way where there's actual Red Wings fans, in Canada. And they're very happy to have you there. So for me, that was really cool. Obviously, the experience of meeting Lindsay was an experience in itself. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's for me. That was the biggest thing is having the people know who you are and kind of be happy that you're there. That was really fun.
And Ryan, this question's for you. Like you play hockey professionally. What's it feel like going back to these play-on events where you get to almost feel like a kid again and like a no-pressure game, just trying to go out there for fun?
That's exactly it. It's like no pressure, just being a kid again. It's cool. That's the thing that you get the memories from internally. Where when I was a kid, I would love to have something like that. We never had anything like that, but you just almost wish that you did. And you miss being on the pond and skating there and doing just in a parking lot was fun to play when I was a kid. So when you get all these different teams and you have a full on tournament, that just makes it so cool. And you just love to see these little kids and how happy they are to be there. And then you get adults too, which is even better. They're all going full out in there, and that's funny to watch. And those guys are, they're wanting to win, and I love that.
Did you feel any added pressure in London trying to make a impression on Lindsay with either your sweet hands or a cannon shot from the point? Or
no, I really didn't, to be honest. No, I just kind of went out there, and I didn't even know if I would have met her or anything. So it was just me going out there and being the Red Wings guy that I was hoping to be eventually anyway. So I think in that aspect it was nice for me to just go out there and be myself and have those kids be happy. And obviously the meeting Lindsay thing at the end was meant to be, and that was that.
So let's transition here to your careers. We want to ask both of you, where are you guys right now in terms of your careers, as Ryan as a professional hockey player and Lindsay as a country music artist?
For me, I actually, as a country music artist, I retired from country music about 3 years ago. And, that was partially for a few different reasons. Scheduling with Ryan and I was a nightmare because I was traveling, he was traveling. It was impossible to see one another. And at some point, we sat down and decided if we're going to try to really make this work, I think we need to make some sacrifices. And I won't say that was obviously the number one reason why I stopped. I feel like also as a Canadian country music artist, there's a ceiling on how far you can go and financially how much you can make. And I was in a spot where, I had achieved all of my goals, and I thought maybe it was time to move on to something else and really pursue Ryan seriously. Because at the end of the day, it's all fun and games until you move in with each other, and then you figure out if you really like each other or not, right? So we decided to take that step. And exactly, yeah. So I left the music 3 years ago, like I mentioned, and I got my real estate license. So I've been doing real estate now for 2 years professionally in the Greater Toronto area. And just this past year, I started my own real estate team. So I have people working for me, under me, which is so great. It's such a different element, and it takes me out of my comfort zone every single day, challenging me. I'm really, really enjoying it. And, if you guys are looking for a place, you know who to call, right?
I'll keep that in mind. So what about yourself, Ryan?
Well, I just finished actually in the KHL for my second year, and I was in China my first year, and in Russia my second year with the same team. So obviously with COVID and stuff, they actually moved back to Russia for the last season. So that's where I am right now with the KHL. So we're in the middle of the summer again, where it's always hectic and trying to find another contract and how long you're going to be where you are. So looking for a job now and hopefully trying to get myself back to North America. It's my comfort zone, I think, and
comfort zone as well.
Yeah, I guess it makes more sense for me to be here with both of us too. So I was in the KHL for 2 years, had a blast. It was awesome playing over there. Hockey's unbelievable. So kind of over that now and trying to get back here, but wherever you can go is what you take, and you make the most of it, like Lindsay said before. So hoping to get back over here and back to AHL, potentially NHL, and making my mark again.
How did you find the game compare Ryan, between North America and the KHL?
It's a different game. Yeah, it's a I would say a big difference in game in terms of first of all the rink's bigger there anyway. So when you have a bigger rink and those Russians that are all fast and skilled, and you're barely getting hit, it's a completely different mindset when you're in a game like that, right? So if you know there's no guy coming to run you over, you're playing your game a little bit differently. So I think that's where I saw the biggest difference. I would say is that your mindset is completely different. Where you have the big rink and you have lots of room to make plays and use your speed and stuff like that. Whereas over here, it's quick and more physical for sure.
Now, I know you both traveled all over the place, and I know, Ryan, you even had a stop in Sault Ste. Marie. But how did that Canada cold in the winter compare to the winters in Russia? That's my real question right now. Is it just as cold? Is it colder? Is it
Yeah, that's it. That's a good question. It's I'm trying to think back to, like, I know the Sioux was freezing, but I was a kid, I was 16 then, 17 then. So I'd almost think that back then it didn't matter as much to me, but I feel like if I went back there now, I'd be, freezing. But Russia was cold. Like that's really cold. And then you get to, Siberia, which people don't even think is a real place, and you land there and you can't even breathe. So that's cool. There's nothing that compares to that. Sault Ste. Marie is pretty chilly, but when you land in Siberia or some of the places in Russia itself, that's cold. No, you're not going to feel anything like that.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
On that. I already find Sudbury a little too cold for me. So,
yeah. And that's
you can
nothing.
keep it over there, and I'll just be ready for the summer over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the listeners, we're recording obviously audio, but we see Lindsay and Ryan and with their beautiful pool in the background, and you guys are talking about the cold, and I'm just imagining the pool because of the weather that's coming up.
With the weather like that is in Russia, you have to think about that, and that's the only way to get through it. Really, is to know that you can come back and wait for those summers. So it's the only way I get through it.
And also another question about how you both travel a lot. Was there any cool stops that you've been to a place where you're just like, wow, like I wouldn't mind kicking around here or stretching the legs along your journey? Was there any cool spots like that?
I feel like we had a bunch of those. I mean, when Ryan was playing in Detroit, we actually bought a house just outside of Detroit in Troy, Michigan. We loved it so much. It felt like home to us there. Obviously, with his trade a couple of years later, we didn't really get to enjoy it too long. But I think every place that you played has been a really cool experience. You went to New York, which was cool. Yeah. Living the lifestyle every single day of being a New Yorker was really cool for me. And last year,
New Yorker to Siberia.
I know.
Yeah, what a difference.
And then the year prior, going to China was probably one of the coolest things that we've experienced, and different for us. It was like landing on a different planet because you don't speak the language, you have no idea how to communicate with people. The food's different, everything is just different.
What do you guys think? Because when I went to New York a couple years ago, I absolutely loved it. Do you think it's the greatest city on earth?
I would not say. No, I wouldn't say the greatest city on earth.
No.
I would say that's pushing it. I believe we liked it. We liked it a lot. We're more of and this is where the Sault Ste. Marie thing comes. I'm a big more of a country guy now, so I'd rather have outside and some land and
some toys.
Yeah, it's a little bit busy for me, and I think Lindsay's in the same boat. So it's a cool place to go and experience, and I love being there for a short time, but I wouldn't see myself being there for a long time, and I'd rather be up in the country somewhere.
Now, in our previous podcast, we talked to Jamie Lee Rattray, and she talked a big part of these play-on events is just blaring music all day out in the sun. Now, Lindsay, do you feel added pressure having worked in the music industry to kind of put on a performance with that the aux DJ during events like this? Or
I mean, yes, because when the DJ is blaring the music, it sounds perfect. It's mixed perfectly. They're playing the hot songs that everybody knows, and then I'll come on stage and maybe not everybody knows who I am, and I have an acoustic guitar. So there's a little bit of pressure to be the best that I could possibly be at that point in time. But I feel like once the first song passes, I can I was slipping that insecurity away a little bit. But I will say, yes, definitely initially I felt that pressure really hard.
Yeah. No, Ryan. What about you? What kind of music do you kind of throughout this event? Like, is there something you put in requests or something like that while you're waiting for your turn to play or while you're playing?
No, I mean, like Lindsay said, I think they pretty much have the DJ that's got their hit list on and stuff like that I would listen to anyway. So my favorite part is when the country music comes on anyway, because that's my favorite.
Good answer.
Not just you, any country. No, I'm just a big country fan, so I like when they have somebody come on, and also live music is for me more impressive anyway. So it's cool to watch that and see somebody up there performing and playing their own music. I think that's awesome.
We have a couple minutes before we conclude our interview, but we've been asking everybody so far, why should Play On return? The hope is that Play On returns when COVID is figured out, in that frame, for hopefully in 22. But for both of you, because you've been at the event, you participated in it, why should Play On return?
I think community. It brings so many people together from so many different spots, doing a thing that everybody loves to do. It brings people together. And, I feel like after this, we all need a time where we can enjoy ourselves and kick back and relax and have a little bit of fun. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but we definitely would be returning if we were asked to come back. It was such a great time. And I think, just the community aspect in itself is super important. And I would love to come back. Bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to jump in, I would totally agree. I think it's incredible. The way it's run is dead on. It's a blast to be at. It's so good for the kids to be out there and whether it's learning the game of hockey or just going out there and competing and instead of being behind a TV, which they probably have been for a long time now with COVID, get out there and the exercise aspect, like Lindsay said, the community aspect, the music aspect. There's so many things that it brings to the table that this thing could be run every single weekend and it would be lights out and fun to be at. So I think it's done so well and it's a blast to be at. Absolutely.
My only request would be that Brown goes to more locations. We want it out in Whitby area.
Yep. Come to Durham.
Yeah, it has to come to Durham.
Well, if you two need a water boy next celeb game, I'll make sure there's some cold water waiting for you.
Perfect. That's perfect.
That sounds great.
Cool. All right, thanks to Ryan and Lindsay. Where can people follow you on social?
Well, actually, I was going to throw in there too. I have this company here on my hat as well. So this is What a League company that I just started. I'm plugging myself here, but I started that with a couple of buddies, and it's kind of like a lifestyle company type of thing. So I'm on social there at What a League Co. And then I also have my own, obviously, at Sproul 93. And then yours is?
You know what mine is. I changed my last name. So
Oh, yeah.
Everything's different for me now. I think it's, I'm on Instagram just as myself, Lindsay.Sproul. And then obviously my real estate team is different. It's a Lindsay and Jennifer team. And that is on Instagram. So that's where you can find me and you can find what we're up to. And
yeah, it's kind of where we're going with, our socials on starting a business outside of our profession. So
awesome. That's so cool.